Hello, Shafi, can you hear me?
Hello, boss.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear the sound for Sophos as well?
Yeah, I can hear the sound loud and
Okay,
clear.
good. All right, cool.
The UK government is investigating whether a recent outage at the London Stock Exchange was caused by a cyber attack. The outage was its worst in 8 years.
54 for 3,000
He said
shares.
2,000 trades.
59. 59.
No,
63 for 4,000. 63 for 4,000. Give me 63 for 4,000.
I'm out.
6,000 trades. 6,000 and 63. Is this a cyber attack?
Nation state hacktivist? What, cyber terrorist?
Hackers have shut down the market. They've shut it down.
I need to know how this happened. I'm due to brief the Prime Minister in less than an hour. Someone tell me something.
The investigation is
Ongoing. I know. What do we know so far?
At the present, everything's pointing back to a BEC attack.
Business email compromise. Who was it that got hacked?
It was me. They hacked my email account 8 months ago.
Let me make sure I have this right. The CEO of one of the largest stock exchanges on the planet got hacked? Oh, this should go over well.
Believe me, I know.
Well, I'm gonna need details.
The hacker stayed dormant in my account, watching and learning everything I do. Eventually, the hacker, pretending to be me, sent our database administrator a falsified email straight out of my account.
In it, the hacker told the DBA that we hired a new contractor to help secure the servers that control trading, and to please set up an admin account for the new contractor so he could have admin access to the trading platform.
Didn't the DBA scrutinize the email like we're trained to do?
Yes, in fact, he did everything right. He checked the time the email was sent, 6:30 a.m., very normal for me. He scrutinized the grammar, use of language only I use. He also checked the internet headers to make sure the email was really coming from my account as opposed to being spoofed. The request could not have appeared to be any more legitimate.
Then I ask again, how did this happen?
Because even though everything looked proper, and even though the email said I would be away from my phone, he still should have called me anyway. And if he wasn't able to get a hold of me, he should have waited until we talked, no matter how long that might have taken.
Instead, the hacker, disguised as the contractor, went in and wreaked havoc on our software, setting a time bomb that executed 10 minutes into the trading day, and, as you know, halted trading that led to the 40% market drop.
Don't remind me.
At this point, all we can do is learn from our mistakes, which we are by retraining all our employees. Anytime you receive an email requesting you to grant access to sensitive data or to transfer funds or send any other highly confidential information over email, that you verify the source of the request, either by phone or in person, no matter how long it takes, even if it means missing a deadline.
Good. I'll be sure and tell that to the Prime Minister. Hopefully, he'll share your optimism.
The UK government is investigating whether a recent outage at the London Stock Exchange was caused by a cyber attack. The outage was its worst in 8 years.
54 for 3,000
You said
shares.
2,000 trades.
59. 59.
No,
63 for 4,000. 63 for 4,000. Give me 63 for 4,000.
I'm out.
6,000 trades. 6,063. Is this a cyber attack?
Nation state hacktivist? What, cyber terrorist?
Hackers have shut down the market. They've shut it down.
I need to know how this happened. I'm due to brief the Prime Minister in less than an hour. Someone tell me something.
The investigation is
Ongoing. I know. What do we know so far?
at the present, everything's pointing back to a BEC attack.
Business email compromise. Who was it that got hacked?
It was me. They hacked my email account 8 months ago.
Let me make sure I have this right. The CEO of one of the largest stock exchanges on the planet got hacked? Oh, this should go over well.
Believe me, I know.
Well, I'm gonna need details.
The hacker stayed dormant in my account, watching and learning everything I do. Eventually, the hacker, pretending to be me, sent our database administrator a falsified email straight out of my account.
In it, the hacker told the DBA that we hired a new contractor to help secure the servers that control trading, and to please set up an admin account for the new contractor so he could have admin access to the trading platform.
Didn't the DBA scrutinize the email like we're trained to do?
Yes. In fact, he did everything right. He checked the time the email was sent, 6:30 a.m., very normal for me. He scrutinized the grammar and use of language. It was very clearly my dialect with terms only I use. He also checked the internet headers to make sure the email was really coming from my account as opposed to being spoofed. The request could not have appeared to be any more legitimate.
Then I ask again, how did this happen?
Because even though everything looked proper, and even though the email said I would be away from my phone, he still should have called me anyway. And if he wasn't able to get a hold of me, he should have waited until we talked, no matter how long that might have taken.
Instead, the hacker, disguised as the contractor, went in and wreaked havoc on our software, setting a time bomb that executed 10 minutes into the trading day, and, as you know, halted trading that led to the 40% market drop.
Don't remind me.
At this point, all we can do is learn from our mistakes, which we are by retraining all our employees. Anytime you receive an email requesting you to grant access to sensitive data or to transfer funds or send any other highly confidential information over email, that you verify the source of the request, either by phone or in person, no matter how long it takes, even if it means missing a deadline.
Good. I'll be sure and tell that to the Prime Minister. Hopefully, he'll share your optimism.
All right. Good day, everybody. So it's 2 minutes past the hour, and we just watched the video. I think some people just joined, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play one more time, and then after that, we just discuss the questions, and then today's presentation will just resume right after that. Okay, so I'm playing one more of the video.
The UK government is investigating whether a recent outage at the London Stock Exchange was caused by a cyber attack. The outage was its worst in 8 years.
54 for 3,000
You said
shares.
2,000 trades.
59. 59.
No.
63 for 4,000. Take 63
Yes,
for
4,000.
4,000.
Those
Give me
are the
63 for 4,000.
I'm out.
4,000.
6,000 trade. 6,000 and 63. Is this a cyber attack?
Nation state hacktivist? What, cyber terrorist?
Hackers have shut down the market. They've shut it down.
I need to know how this happened. I'm due to brief the Prime Minister in less than an hour. Someone tell me something.
The investigation is
Ongoing. I know. What do we know so far?
at the present, everything's pointing back to a BEC attack.
Business email compromise. Who was it that got hacked?
It was me. They hacked my email account 8 months ago.
Let me make sure I have this right. The CEO of one of the largest stock exchanges on the planet got hacked? Oh, this should go over well.
Believe me, I know.
Well, I'm gonna need details.
The hacker stayed dormant in my account, watching and learning everything I do. Eventually, the hacker, pretending to be me, sent our database administrator a falsified email straight out of my account.
In it, the hacker told the DBA that we hired a new contractor to help secure the servers that control trading, and to please set up an admin account for the new contractor so he could have admin access to the trading platform.
Didn't the DBA scrutinize the email like we're trained to do?
Yes, in fact, he did everything right. He checked the time the email was sent, 6:30 a.m., very normal for me. He scrutinized the grammar and use of language. It was very clearly my dialect with terms only I use. He also checked the internet headers to make sure the email was really coming from my account as opposed to being spoofed. The request could not have appeared to be any more legitimate.
Then I ask again, how did this happen?
Because even though everything looked proper, and even though the email said I would be away from my phone, he still should have called me anyway. And if he wasn't able to get a hold of me, he should have waited until we talked, no matter how long that might have taken.
Instead, the hacker, disguised as the contractor, went in and wreaked havoc on our software, setting a time bomb that executed 10 minutes into the trading day, and, as you know, halted trading that led to the 40% market drop.
Don't remind me.
At this point, all we can do is learn from our mistakes, which we are by retraining all our employees. Anytime you receive an email requesting you to grant access to sensitive data or to transfer funds or send any other highly confidential information over email, that you verify the source of the request, either by phone or in person, no matter how long it takes, even if it means missing a deadline.
Good. I'll be sure and tell that to the Prime Minister. Hopefully, he'll share your optimism.
All right, good day, everyone, once again. So I believe we all enjoyed the video. We're just going to go over the questions that the video has for us, and then we will just answer it together, and then we'll actually start with a conversation. So the very first one says, true or false? If an email message came from your organization's own email server, it can be trusted explicitly. More or less what it's saying is, so long as it's coming from your company's email, you shouldn't have any doubt that you should know it's coming from a place where you can trust. And the question is this true or false? Is this something that you should all say, so long as I'm seeing it from my company's email address or email domain, there is no way that it could have been compromised, so I have to trust it? That's what the question is asking. So what do you guys think? Is this something that you think we can go ahead and say,
False.
hey, okay, all right, so false. Thank you for that. The next one is true or false. It's possible for an attacker to compromise a legitimate email account and send emails using that account. Is it possible that an attacker can compromise somebody else's email that is legit and then use that person's email to actually cause problems? Is it possible? That's the question, true or false?
True.
That's true.
Okay, all right, good. And the third one says, if you receive an email requesting you to grant access to sensitive data, the things that you're supposed to be doing. You've been asked to actually grant access to a very sensitive data. These are some of the things that they're saying. Say, send a reply email asking for confirmation, allow access to information. If it seems legitimate and then everything looks proper, go ahead and do so. The third one says, answer the message to negotiate for the terms. And then the very last one says, verify the source of the request, either by phone or in person. Which one would you think is actually the best answer for this?
Verify the source.
Yes.
Which one?
Either by phone or in person.
Verify the source.
Verify.
Exactly. Why is that the case? Why couldn't you just send an email reply by asking for confirmation?
And because the hacker might still be on the network.
Yeah, because it might be the hacker who actually sends it. So your reply will go back to the hacker and the hacker is going to say yes. So going back to the hacker will not make sense. So yeah, that's perfect. So yes, you don't need to do that, but rather you want to verify by a different source. Okay. The very last one before we start with our conversation today. True or false, you must verify the source of sensitive requests and make sure that they are all legitimate. Verify and make sure they are all legitimate. True. All right. Okay, thank you very much. And let's see how well we did. So we can see that we had everything correct, which means that we were on the right path. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for making the time for today. Today, we're going to be talking about proxy firewall. My name is Kwame Omaridade, and I'm going to take you through what we call hands-on. I'm going to actually try and explain to you what things are done when it comes to the theory aspect, and then also I'll demonstrate to you how it's done when it comes to the hands-on. So one would ask, what is a proxy firewall, or more or less, what is a firewall? So I borrowed this definition from Fortinet, and their definition says, a proxy firewall, also known as an application firewall or a gateway firewall, it limits the applications that a network can support, which increases security level, but can affect functionality and speed. Traditional firewalls are not designed to decrypt traffic or inspect application protocol traffic. So what a proxy firewall is what we are seeing. So more or less, we are talking about something that can actually help in restricting access to other stuff. So you have like a middle person who is between an internal network and an external network, where there is a possibility for the device that is between those two networks can actually do what we call restriction. So we can actually restrict what can be seen and what cannot be seen, or what can be received and what cannot be received. There is a way that we want to be able to do that. And the tool that can help us do that is a proxy firewall. All right, so moving on from there, then we now ask ourselves, why is there a need to do this in general? In the first place, why should we even think of having a firewall in the first place? Okay, so some cyber attackers aim to trick users into loading a malicious web page that initiates a malware download, just like the video that we just saw. If you were here and you saw the video from the beginning, you realize that actually the CEO of a particular company got her account compromised. And because her account was compromised, the cyber criminal pretended to be her and sent out emails to other people that know her to be the CEO. And then because she being the CEO, if she asks for certain instructions or if she gives certain commands, people are going to do it without asking questions. If I'm the CEO of a company and I send an email to my employees to ask them to do stuff, I don't think they will second guess me by calling me on phone to ask whether I was the one that sent the email. Because if this is what I do all the time by sending email to ask them to do stuff, the moment they see an email from me, they'll just go ahead and do it. So imagine if somebody compromises the CEO's account and is sending emails pretending to be the CEO. Obviously, the employees are not going to second guess. They're not going to call and ask if this instruction is coming from the CEO. They're just going to go ahead and do exactly what the CEO is asking. So therefore, the CEO is responsible to make sure that their account is never compromised, because when the account is compromised and people are sending out emails to be them, people are going to be doing things that the pretended CEO is asking them to do. So it is very important that even CEOs are supposed to make sure that the accounts are very secure. And some of the things that can help us to make sure that certain things like this do not happen in terms of having your account compromised is having a tool like Cisco Umbrella, because with the Cisco Umbrella, you will be able to manage, or with the proxy firewall, you'll be able to manage who can access what. And having people going out to access certain websites are actually a way for your individual employees or users to actually get themselves compromised. Because if the sites that they are visiting are not sites that pages are identified as dangerous, and then phishing. So these are all the dangerous stuff that we have out there. The reason why we need to have a proxy firewall that is going to make sure the sites that we are visiting or pages that we are trying to visit have actually been verified by our businesses or our companies, and they know for sure that this part that we are trying to visit is somewhere that if we visit, we wouldn't have any issues over there. Now, moving on, say even the government agencies actually also use proxy firewalls. Why do they use them? Government agencies around the world would also block access to online content for a variety of reasons. And this is to shield children from obscene content, to prevent access to copyright infringing material or confusingly named domains, or to protect. So you realize at the end of the day, all that we're trying to do using a proxy firewall is to actually protect ourselves as a business or even as a government. We are trying to protect ourselves. And that's what the firewall is doing for us. The very last area where we also want to look at, why would a school also want to use a tool like this? The goal of these rules and restrictions is simple: to protect kids from harmful and distracting content on the internet. School is a place where kids should be learning, while the internet is a useful tool to do just that. It also brings countless dangers that schools should be wary of. So more or less, I'm just trying to let you guys understand that the reason for having a tool like this in your organization is to make sure that we are actually restricting our employees or our workers from visiting certain places, and it's for their own good. It is for their own good. Also, one would also say, if the organization also realizes that employees are distracted from doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of visiting sites like social media and the rest, that could be something that an organization could also look at by saying, if I want my employees to be very productive, I'm going to restrict them from visiting social media during working hours. And after working hours, I don't mind. I can have them visit whatever social media they want to visit, or before working hours, they can do that. But the moment is between 9 a.m. to 5, if that is their working hours for the organization, those sites could be blocked, and then we would have every employee concentrate on what they're supposed to be doing in terms of the work that they're supposed to be doing. And when work is done and it's after 5, and employees still want to stay behind and then visit social media and the rest, the system can automatically allow them to be able to do so when they want to. So these are some of the areas where a proxy firewall would actually help us in terms of trying to protect our organizations for us. So before I actually bring over the application and then dive into it, we are going to be looking at a few web applications where we are going to be blocking. And so I would like to open this to all of us. We can actually name a few applications, sorry, a few websites that we think we want to block. And then we're going to use this as our exercise. So I don't mind if you guys can just chime in a few websites. Make sure you're not asking me to block a website like Google or YouTube, because those ones are very large. And if you're asking me to block that, that will take us a long time before it will finally be blocked. So let's look for simple websites like the Ghana Webs and those simple ones, and then let's list them here. And then when I start the demonstration, I'm going to use the website that you guys have listed, and I'm going to actually show you how this is actually blocked and how we can allow them and how policies are going to be working on all those here and there. So I'm opening the floor for websites or web applications that you guys want us to use. We only need 5, so I only need 5 web applications. Any? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, boss, we can hear you.
Okay, so I just need like 5 websites, if you don't mind. Give me, so you can randomly, you can just give me one each.
Soft Africa.
My Joy Online.
My Joy Online, okay. See if I spelled that right. No. I did
eBay.
not. Give me a second. This My Joy OY Online. So that's correct. Okay,
Yeah,
good. I had
online, yeah.
eBay, ebay.com.
SoftAfrica.com.
Softfreak.com.
GoGoAnime.lu.
Google.
GoGoAnime. GOGO.
GOGO. Anime.
Yeah. No. ANIME.
.com.
.lu.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
One more.
Gisatech.com.
Which one is that? VISATE.
GESATECH. No, it's GESATECH.com.
GESH. Like that?
GEC.com.
Correct?
Checking. Yes, please.
.com.
No, it's GESA. GESA. GESA.
Okay. Like that.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, cool. So these are 5 web applications that we're going to be applying on our tool. So the tool in question is Cisco Umbrella. That's the name of the tool, Cisco Umbrella, and this is how it looks like. So there are a few features here that I may want to run through real quick. This is the overview, as you can see, and then there is the deployment part.
Hello. Mommy, I can't hear you. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
I think it's network.
No, it's a
Can you guys hear
problem
me now?
from his side. So, yeah, we can hear you. It's okay.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
fine.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm trying to show the application and the number of computer systems that I have on there. So as you can see on my screen, I have 2 computer systems at the moment. I have this one and then I have that one. These are the only 2 machines that I have on there for the purpose of this presentation. All right, so these 2 machines, I have also created them in such that they are of 2 different policies. One of them is on executive policy and the other one is on a basic policy. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted to show you guys that even in an organization where we have senior management and then the common floor members, sometimes the policies that are actually asked are not the same. You may go to an organization where people at the top are allowed to do certain things, like they're allowed to maybe watch Netflix on the network. They're allowed to go to certain websites that regular employees are not allowed to do so. And you may be wondering why or how that is possible. A tool like this is what makes it possible. Because if you have a tool like this in your organization, you can actually group them into various groups and then you can apply different policies to them. So depending on which policy you are on, if there are any policy or rules on that particular group, it would apply to you. So if I'm on a policy where I'm allowed to watch Netflix, when I'm in there, I can watch Netflix. So one could be sitting right next to me in an office. I can be doing certain things that the other person cannot do, even though we are on the same network and we are in the same office. It's because we are in a different policy or we are on a different group. That is the reason why that is the case. And so I decided to actually enroll 2 separate machines where each one of them belongs to a different policy. That way I can actually demonstrate for you to see. So like I said, in the deployment, the only thing that I needed to show you was the roaming computers, which you've seen right now. Now let's go into the policies. Inside the policies,
So, please, a very
yes,
quick question from my side. You've been mentioning policy. So, as a layman who doesn't know what the policy means, what would you say?
Good question.
Is the meaning of the policy? If we say a policy.
Good question. And a policy is just like what is given to us to live in every country or to live by in wherever we find ourselves. Anywhere you go, there are rules and regulations. There are things that you can do and things that you cannot do. This is why we have Bible, Qurans, and the rest. Those are there to guide us as individuals. So if you are moving from one point to another and you get to the place, they have their own rules. There's a saying that goes like, you do what the Romans do when you're in Rome, right? When you get to Rome, you do what the Romans do. And so wherever you find yourself, there are rules and regulations that you are supposed to be following. So a policy will be, if you find yourself in a particular organization, they may have certain rules and regulations that they would like you to abide by. So in the company, they might say, on Fridays, we are not allowed to come into the office wearing jeans. Maybe on Mondays, you can't also come to the office wearing t-shirts. Or there could be policies like you can't have your laptops being given to your kids to play with. I mean, these are all rules and regulations, and those are what I mean by policy. So I kept saying policy. So what I'm all saying when I say policy, lay down rules, things that the company is expecting you to abide by. Those are what we call policy. So the company comes up with things that they feel it will help them to actually move on smoothly. And so if you go contrary to those policies that they've laid out, you are supposed to be punished. So that will be the definition for policy. Does that make sense, or you still want me to dive in further into explaining what policy is?
That's okay. Thank you.
All right, so looking at my screen, you would see that there's a default policy that comes with Cisco Umbrella. So that doesn't count. I'm not going to use that. So let's just forget about that one, because by default, Cisco gives you a policy by themselves. But then after that, you realize that I have Software Freak Basic Policy, and the other one I should have also named is Software Freak Executive Policy, but I just said Executive. So those are the two policies that I have created. And to create a policy is quite easy. I'll just run through it real quick. I'm not going to create one. So I just do add here. I choose the number of computer systems that I want to apply the policies to. You realize that the two machines that I have, they're here. If I select whichever one I want to use, it comes here, then I can apply that policy to. So let's just assume that I'm just trying to apply to this one. I'm not going to create this policy. I'm just going to show you guys how it works. So I go further to actually state things that I need in the policy, and then I'll be able to create my own policy. If I want to use the default settings, it's there. If I want to create my own, I can just create new settings, and I can actually do that. I'll go through the contents, destinations, blog pages, and then summary. And when I do so, I have my own policy created. I don't want to create a policy, so I'm just running through it real quick so you guys know what that is. So these two policies are here. And before I actually try to go into the policy to check or to even do a block, let's go to our two computer systems that we have. So we have two computer systems. I'm going to show you where they are. The two computer systems are right here. We have this very one, which I call the CodeArray, as you guys saw. I'm going to log into that. And this is it. So I'm logging into this one. This is one of the machines. And then the other machine that I showed you, which is a Lab USA 27, also right here. I'm going to show you that one. So this one, I'm going to log into that as well. And so I have logged into both computer systems, as you can see right now. And before the class, I was actually trying my hands on a few things. So as you can see over there. So this is the Lab USA 27, the other machine. And then this is the other one that you have. I'm going to open a browser for this one too. So some of the sites that we talked about, which I believe I wrote them here somewhere. Where do I have them? So some of the sites that we talked about, which I'm going to pull up here, I'm going to put this on a side where I can see. at least I can see which site that we talked about. So the very first one that we looked at was My Joy Online. So let's just go to My Joy Online and see what happens if we go to My Joy Online. So this is for the computer ko.a, as you can see right there. So My Joy Online is going to be myjoyonline.com. And My Joy Online should pop up for us to see if that site is up. We should see it as I have tried to open it. So My Joy Online should be coming up right away. So as you guys can all see, My Joy Online is actually showing for all of us to see. I'll pick the next site that we have, which is ebay.com. Doing ebay.com right there. So ebay.com is also going to be showing for us to see. As you can see, ebay.com. There's a softafrique.com as well. Softafrique.com is also going to show up for us to see. And there was a GoGo Animi LU. Go Animi. Animi.lu. Let's see how that looks like. So right there, I don't know, but the name kind of changed. I don't know if it's actually the right one though. But then we have the very last one here that says what? GisaTech.com. And this should also pop up as we can see right here. So Gisa Tech Solutions is also right here. All right. So now we have all our sites popping up on the ko.a account. We need to, let's assume that maybe Gisa Tech is a site that we have identified to be very malicious, and our company policy is saying that we don't want any of our employees to visit Gisa Tech Solutions going forward. So we need to find a way to block that. So in the cybersecurity career, you could be asked that, hey, in your team, can you make sure that Gisa Tech Solutions has been blocked so that going forward, none of our employees who belongs to the basic group is not able to access this, but then the guys in the executive groups should be able to access that. So that is the instruction that has been given to you as a cybersecurity analyst in an organization. So now that you have this information, you're going to jump straight into Cisco Umbrella and see how best you can do this. So jumping into Cisco Umbrella, you will come in here and I have so many things open. Okay, right here. So right there, this is Cisco Umbrella. I'm going to bring it here. I'm going into the policy for the basic, because that's the one that we've been told to actually have blocked. So I'm going into the basic policy to do this. So inside here, I'm going into the destination list. And then in the basic block, or the one that says company, because the same thing, if I come here, you realize that when I go in there is the same one that is actually being called that over here. So inside the destination list, I'm looking for the company deny. That's the same for the basic. So now I'm being asked to block gisatech.com. So I'll come here and then I'll do www.gisatech.com. And I'm going to add it to this. And then after I have added it, I'll come here and then I'll do a save. Now, as the cybersecurity analyst, if I have done this and I want to confirm that this block that I have done has taken effect, one thing that I can do to check is to come in here and check all policies. And inside all policies, there's where it says policy tester. So I can come in here and test what I have just done. And the guys who are on the basic accounts, I need to pick one of them to check. So obviously ko.a is actually one of them that is on the basic account. So I can select that one. Then I go to the same site that I just blocked to see if it will allow me to go through or not. So I'm going to do www.gisatech.com. And let me see if it's going to allow me to actually go through. So when I click on this, it's actually telling me right away that this destination has been blocked due to a destination list, meaning that because I have actually asked it not to allow me, it has been blocked. Now, if I check another computer system that is in a different policy, which is the Lab USA, which is this very one, if I try to access this one, it shouldn't tell me it's blocked because this is in a different policy. And as you can see, it did not tell me it is blocked because this is in the executive policy, as you can see here. And the other one that I did, which is a KO Daddy, is actually on the basic policy. And so that one did not go through. And when I tried that one, you see that one is in the Soft Africa basic policy. And because of that, this has been blocked. Now, I have done this to check from here on the Cisco umbrella. Now, let me go onto the machine itself to see if I can visit that site. So this is the KO Daddy site that has been blocked. Now I'm going to try the Gisatek again, and let's see what happens if I try to do that. So inside the KO Daddy account, I'm going to do the Gisatek again. So I'm doing gisatek.com. Let's see what happens when I do that. So you can see that it is telling me that Gisatek has been blocked by Soft Africa group of companies. Now, I can go to the Lab USA and try that same website, but here it's going to go through because the policy do not apply to this very one. The policy do not apply to this one. So here I expect that should this website without any problems. Now, I've just done this. Let's just say that on the executive side of the story, we want to block eBay on the executive side. The executive guys who wants to block eBay, the guys on executive, or according to the business policy, we don't want anybody in the executive realm to visit eBay because maybe the company, the guys on executive have been given credit cards and the rest. So when we give them access to eBay, they might be using them to buy stuff that they're not supposed to buy. But meanwhile, the guys who are on a basic account, because they don't have the credit cards and they would have to ask the guys in the executive for the credit card details, the guys on the basic account can go to eBay and then buy stuff. But before they buy, they need to be approved by the guys in the executive realm before they do so. So let's just assume that inside the executive, which the Lab USA 27 belongs to, we want to block eBay. We don't want eBay to be accessed by the guys who are here. So back into Cisco umbrella, which I'm going to bring over here. Back here into Cisco umbrella, I'm going to go into the destination list. And inside the destination list, there is the executive block and executive allow. So here in the executive block, when I click on that, and I come in here and then I type www.ebay.com, and then I add this to the list of websites that I want to block, and I do a save. Right there and then, eBay has been blocked over here. But how do I confirm that this has been blocked as a cybersecurity analyst? Because when I'm done, I probably don't have access to all the people that are on that particular policy to go and check their computers one after the other. So I need to be able to test as a cybersecurity analyst to confirm that this thing has taken effect. Everybody in that group should be blocked. So I will go into all policies, and inside all policies, there's the policy tester. And then I will pick one machine from that particular group, and then I'll test. So the group that I'm looking for is the Lab USA, or somebody in the Lab USA. So I'm picking that one up, and then I'll come down here and do www. Then I'll do ebay.com. After doing that, I'm going to run a test to see if I'll be allowed to visit eBay. So after running the test, it's telling me that people in the executive policy are not allowed to visit eBay. And as cybersecurity analyst, I have confirmed that from here, that this guy, if he tries to visit eBay, he will not be able to visit eBay. So let's go check the guy themselves. So this is the guy, and here he is, he's trying to visit eBay. Let's see what happens if he tries to do that. www.ebay.com. And the moment he tries to do that, it tells us that eBay has been blocked. Now, there could also be a reason for a site to be open for an individual person. Let's say we have a rule that is preventing everybody from accessing eBay in the executive group. For every rule, there's always an exception. There could be a possibility that one employee on the executive side, according to the nature of their work and the things that they're doing, that particular person probably should be given some kind of a leeway or should be allowed to visit eBay because of what they do. And so that person may have some kind of permission to visit eBay. So if that person is browsing and then they get to eBay and they are not allowed to visit, they can request the cybersecurity team to allow them. And how would they do that? They don't necessarily have to write a separate email elsewhere. So they visit a page like this and they've been blocked. And now they're seeing that they've been blocked from visiting eBay. So there is an option here where you can say is report an incorrect block, meaning that this individual probably should have been allowed to visit eBay without any issues. Maybe we had a conversation and we all agree that this individual alone in the executive group should be allowed to visit eBay without any issues. And maybe the security team forgot about it. They forgot to actually allow that person. Or not that they forgot, but they haven't implemented it yet. And so this individual is trying to visit eBay and they realize that the block is still active for them. So now they want to request to the cybersecurity team that, hey, the conversation we had the other time about allowing me to visit eBay, I don't think you guys have implemented it. Can you go ahead and do so for me? So the individual will come here and then you click on report an incorrect block. And then when they do that, they have the option to put in their name, their email address, and then the message they want to type. So let's just say that this individual wants to type their name in there. So they can say, my name is maybe Theophilus, and my email address is maybe Theo_Philos@company.com. So they write their email address and everything, and then they come back and say, per our discussion last week, I am allowed to visit eBay without any issues. Then they leave it like that. Then as soon as we have this, then that individual will send this message, and then this will go straight to the cybersecurity team. And when this is sent, the cybersecurity team, they are supposed to receive this email, and then they will have to work towards that. And I'm going to show you the email that would have been sent. So as you can see here, in the cybersecurity team, the email just came. So first of all, it's saying that the individual belongs to an executive policy, and their destination that was blocked is right there. This is the computer name that was blocked, the IP address and everything, the destination that was actually blocked, which is eBay, the name of the person, the email address that I put there and everything you can see here. And then the message that they actually wrote said, per our discussion last week, I'm allowed to visit eBay without any issues. So the moment this is actually sent to the cybersecurity team, and this can actually be sent to a whole team. So if there's a team of maybe 20 people or 10 or 5, we can configure it in a way that every single person on that team would have received this email. And when they get this email, I mean, certain prim and proper organization will say, okay, let's create a ticket because obviously we want to have a way to track everything that's happening. So let's create a ticket and have this attached in a ticket. That way, in the near future, if something happens and then there's a question why you allow this guy to visit eBay, you have some kind of documentation to show that there was a conversation that was had that said this guy can actually access eBay without any issues. And so we did that for him, and this is a ticket to show. And so this will be a way to go about that when the individual is asking for access in terms of them trying to actually see what is going on in there. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. So we did a 5, so we've done the 5 already. And then the 2 groups, which is the basic and executive, I've actually also showed you guys how that works. And then here, most companies, so here I was talking about, can we set time frames for our policies to take effect? Yes, most companies who do not want their employees to waste their time on social media can choose to have those websites blocked during working hours and then have them enabled after that. So we can actually set it up right there. And then can we tell, using this application, which websites users have visited? Yes, we can. So when I bring back Cisco Umbrella, the sites that we visited, so that should be in reporting. So in here, I can go into security activity, and then I can select each of the computer systems that we have on there. Actually, it's in activity search. So here I can select either lab, USA, I mean, whichever computer system you want to check. And then I would see which sites it has visited in the past few moments. If it's visited any particular site, it will tell me here. And so this is how organizations can also tell if you are an employee and you are visiting certain sites and they are asking you about it, you're lying. There's a simple way to actually find that out. Let's say maybe the organization is asking you to do a particular work and you're supposed to be spending all your hours in the morning to be doing that kind of work, but meanwhile you're not. You are spending your time maybe on some other, maybe YouTube, for instance. You've spent all your mornings just watching YouTube without doing what you're supposed to be doing. The real stuff that you're supposed to be doing for the day, you haven't started any one of them. And if you're being asked whether you're doing the job and you say yes, you have, if your boss or whoever is managing this account wants to know whether what you're saying is true or not, it's easy. They don't even have to ask you any more questions. They just put in your computer name, and every single website that you visited within the time that you were there and everything, they will see it. And guess what? The ones that you visited, whether you're allowed or blocked, is still going to register. So if you remember when we did the eBay that were blocked, that's why we have this red stuff over here. And every site that you visited and you made it, it's actually going to be green. So your boss can actually sit back and even put in the
Hello, Kwame, we can't hear you. We're unable to hear you.
to this, and they can actually see exactly where you. So yes, that is how this plays. It will play out that way, and then it will actually let everybody know, or your boss will know exactly what you've been doing while you weren't paying attention, or you weren't actually doing what you're supposed to be doing as an employee. And so this is how Cisco Umbrella will be able to disgrace you if you're lying to your boss about things that you're saying that you've done that you have not. And so that is about that. Let me see if I have anything else left that I haven't talked about yet. I think basically that's about that. So yeah, this is Cisco Umbrella in a nutshell. I just wanted to run it real quick and then want to leave more room for questions if there are any. So I will bring my presentation to a close if there are any questions for me.
Yeah, hello. I have a question for you.
Right here. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. That was a great lesson you just presented regarding the Proxy firewall. But I just want to find out, maybe at the workplace you may have one or two staff who would still like to, do the impossible in order to get what you have asked them not to do. So I just want to find out, in case you go ahead and restrict a particular website, is there any way whereby somebody can deactivate your activation?
No. There's no way anybody can do so. And good question, to be very honest, very, very good question. The way the individual will be able to do so is, so let me show you something here. So inside here, there is an agent that has been installed, which you can see right here, Cisco Umbrella. And this is what is doing all the magic. If this is not there, you don't have control over the machine anymore. So if you've given the person an admin right on the computer system that you have given them, then they can go ahead and uninstall Cisco Umbrella from the computer system if you have given them admin rights. But in order for you to make sure that all employees that you have this set up on cannot take it off, you don't give them admin rights. And most often than not, computer systems and laptops that we give to our employees and common users, we don't give them admin rights. We do not. We give them the basic user rights to use, and that is them just using the machine to do their daily activities. You only give admin rights to administrators. somebody who is an admin on your system, who has the reason to install stuff, uninstall, do things for you. Those are the people that you will give admin rights to. So to answer your question, if you give an admin right to an employee who shouldn't have that, then yes, they can go ahead and uninstall this agent from the machine, and then Cisco Umbrella, or the tool that is supposed to be managing the security of that computer system or that asset, will no longer take effect. But if you do not give them that admin right, they cannot remove it. And so by then, there is no way that they can bypass the restrictions that you have for them. So I hope that answers your question a lot.
Yeah, I have the second question too.
Go ahead.
Okay. So with this restriction that you're talking about, is it has to do only with our machine in the office? What about instances whereby I have my mobile phone with myself? Unless if you've gone ahead to block the machine that I'm using in the office. But that particular machine can be monitored by the cyber security analyst or whatever. What about instances whereby I have my own mobile phone? And once you restrict my particular machine, that particular machine that I'm using to work in your office, what about going ahead to go to my social media on my phone too? Is there a way whereby that restriction can go against the machine and at the same time my mobile phone that I'm using in the office?
Good point. So there are two kinds of firewalls based on the question that you just asked. There is the host-based, which I believe Debbie did this presentation, I think about 2 presentations ago. There's a host-based and then there's a network-based. So what we're discussing now is the host-based, because this is actually sitting on your laptop. And this one, wherever you go around the world, so long as this is still sitting on your machine, you don't necessarily have to be on your company's network. All the restrictions that the company has applied will apply to you wherever you go. So long as this agent is on the machine, that will happen. Now, back to your question. Yes, that's a very good question. If your phone is on the company's network and you're trying to access the pages that we have blocked here, we should apply the same policy in our network-based firewall. The network-based firewall is within the company's network. But that one only restricts anybody who is on the company's network. So if you're using your own mobile phone's data to browse to Facebook and the rest that we have restricted, that we can't take charge of, because it's your cell phone, it's your personal phone that you have actually decided to use on those applications or on those websites. If you are on our company network internet, then we can restrict you from visiting those sites. 2, if the phone given to you is a company given phone, then the same agent can be installed on the phone. And with that, no matter where you go with the phone, and no matter whether you're using your own data or whatever, that policy will apply. So my answer to your question is in different ways. 1, if the cell phone that you're talking about is using our company's network, our company's internet, then the network-based firewall will take care of that policy, making sure that you are not able to visit those sites that we have blocked you from. 2, if the phone that has been given to you is from the company that was given to you, then the company would ensure that they have an agent like that installed on the phone, where they would apply the same policy. And with that, whether you're on the company policy or you're outside the company, just like the way the laptop is, wherever you are around the world, so long as we have that agent installed on that phone or in the laptop, any internet service that you use, our policy will still apply. So if we are blocking you from certain sites, that policy will apply so long as we have the agent installed on either your cell phone or your laptop. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions, guys? I think we have about 8 minutes to go.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So we are facing similar some of the scenarios at one of our organizations. So let's say there's a Wi-Fi that the users are able to connect using their credentials.
Mm-hmm.
But so when the person uses a different computer, which is not the company's computer. Then the person connects to the Wi-Fi. Still, the person they are not able to access like YouTube. But what they do is that they go to install a VPN to be able to access other sites. Is there a way that we can?
Yes, there's a way. You guys are
block that.
You guys are making a mistake by allowing your users to be able to install stuff on the laptops, because like I was saying earlier on, that you have given them admin rights on their laptops. That is why they are able to install VPN. The proper or the best practice is that you avoid them from being able to install anything on the laptops that you're giving to them. If the laptops given to them are given to them by the company, you have to take away the admin rights from them. If they don't have admin rights, they will not be able to install a VPN on those laptops. And obviously, them installing VPN on those laptops is how they are able to bypass the firewall, and then they are able to visit sites that they're not supposed to visit. So the first thing you guys need to do is take away from them the admin rights that you have given them, because before somebody can install VPN on a machine, is because they have admin rights. Am I making sense?
No. So this is not the computers given to them by the company. They bring a private, a different computer. So we don't have they can install it because it's not on our system.
Right,
The
then that's
computer
a
is not
problem.
on
If
our
it's
system.
their own machine that they are bringing, then you don't have control over them, because it's their own machine. They can
Yes.
install anything they want. So that becomes a challenge.
Yes. So we've been trying to inform them that nobody should bring in a personal device to the office.
It's either that or you can put them on a different network, which is guest. And those guest network is not part of your primary organization network, because when they get compromised and they are on your primary network, they can affect your entire business. So for people that are coming in with their own private machines, you should create a separate network for them. And then you would give them access to that particular network. If it is still mandated that people should bring in their machines, I would suggest that should be the way around it, where you create a separate network for them, a guest network, separate, so that when they want to use it, that's where they use. So when whatever they're doing, because the reason for doing all these things is you're afraid of you being attacked. You're afraid of being attacked. So if they are on your primary network and based on what they're doing, they get attacked, your entire primary network could be compromised as well. So the best will be to actually, if the rules are still not working that they shouldn't bring their own laptops, then what you can do is discuss to have a separate network for them, a guest network, where they'll be different from what you guys are doing on the primary network. And by doing so, after some time, when they realize that they are limited to so many things, they probably might begin not to bring their laptop anymore, where they'll begin to use what you guys have. Because if you restrict them from a lot of resources, then they might as well stop bringing that machine and then maybe come and use what you guys have over there. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much.
No problem. I see Anthony's hand up. Anthony, can I ask a question?
Yeah, I want to know, is it possible for someone to be spying on you if you are working remotely with your own network and your own computer?
Yes.
Because I'm working with an organization remotely, but sometimes they ask me some questions that I think they shouldn't know about that, but they can only know about that when they are spying on my computer. Can that be possible?
Yes, there's a malware, or there's a software called RAT, Remote Access Trojan, and that is that is a software that one. In fact, I don't know whether you're here to watch the video before we started the presentation. The video that we saw before the presentation, one reason how the cyber criminal was able to get access to the CEO's machine was because that individual had stayed in the CEO's machine for months, learning about how she writes her English, who she talks to, the time she wakes up in the morning to start and everything. The guy has been inside her machine for a lot of months, learning about her activities. So the day that he decided, or she decided to actually attack, that person was very well informed with how the CEO behaves. So yes, there is a malware called RAT, Remote Access Trojan, where if I install on your machine, I can sit here and then be watching whatever you're doing wherever you are. So long as you come online and you are online, I can be here and I can be seeing everything that you're doing. And it's silent. It will be staying in your machine silently without you knowing. It can be there for months. So all the things that you're doing, I'll be able to know. And so yes, if they gave you the machine and they decide to install something like that on there, well, that could be something that they decide to do. But other than that, yes, there's a possibility where an agent could be installed on your machine without you knowing, and everything that you're doing, one can sit here and watch everything that you're doing. And they can, I mean, this is the reason why people sometimes can send an email saying that they have a video of you naked. If you don't bring them money, they will expose you. If you also know that you've been naked in front of a computer before, then you'll be scared. You say, hey, how did this guy get it? That's why some people send out ransomware by saying, give me $1,000, otherwise I'll release a video. Last week, Wednesday, you were naked and you were walking around your house. I have that video. I'll expose you if you don't give me $1,000. It's because of that. Does that make sense?
Yes, but my question is, I bought my own laptop. They never have access to it. We just go into contract online, and I never remember I even click on any maliciously. But I'm using this thing. This software called Nextcloud. So that's how we host our data.
Right. Okay, so I see where you're going with that too. So I think I also said it in this presentation that they can tell wherever you've been if they have, like if you have a tool like Cisco Umbrella installed on somebody's machine. I think I mentioned it here that I can tell wherever you've been throughout the day. So if it's not a malware that has been installed on your machine, but then you have an application like this installed for them, how they can tell your activities. So it gives me time and everything. If I want to tell the time that you've been at a particular place, see, it gives me the date and time and everything. So whatever you've done for the day, if I want to track based on you visiting the web pages and what have you, I can just take my time and go through it. And then I will actually begin to know, oh, around this time you visited Bing, you went to eBay, you did this, you did that. So this is also a tool that can actually help in telling exactly where you've been. So one, if it's not a rat that was installed on your machine where the person is monitoring, and you have a tool like this, they can still tell places that you've been. But this one is not as accurate as the rat, because the rat is looking at you live. It's telling everything that you're doing. But at least this one is only telling pages that you've visited, like websites that you've visited and applications that you've visited. That is what this will tell you. So if your question is in regards to a tool like this, then yes, they have the opportunity to be able to see things that you've done or places that you've been based on the fact that you have a tool like this installed on the machine where they can tell what you've done. Make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions, guys? All right. If there are no questions, then I believe we'll bring this to a close. And over to you, Shafiu.
Thank you very much, Ross, for this presentation. I think we've learned a lot of things from this presentation. And I hope in the future or going forward, most of us will try to emulate that when the need comes for us to do our presentations here. So it is good. We've all enjoyed it. And thanks to the new guys that we had today, they asked very good questions. And then we're very happy that today they are here with us. I know going forward, they always join this all-important program. And to all members of South Africa, it's good that we are all here, and we know that in the future or going forward, we are going to do more. So we have various platforms on the social media handles. We have the Instagram, we have the LinkedIn, YouTube and what have you. So we are going to upload all these videos over there. So anyone who has missed anything could easily go there and then watch this program. Next week, God willing, will come again with another important section. But before then, I think Janet is also here. I'd like it to say a word or two before we move. Janet.
Yeah, Shafui, I'm here.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Good.
boss, computer man, or as I affectionately call you, Cyberman. Thank you for today's presentation. And as Shafui said, a special thank you to everyone, but most especially to those who took our invitation and then joined us from a very short notice. We are really delighted to have you here. So let me give you a little background to who we do. So we are SoftAfrique LLC. We are leading technology company, development and IT solutions. We have several business units. Because we are doing cybersecurity today, I'd like to talk about our cybersecurity school. So in our school, we don't just give knowledge, we also have some training. And so you're all invited to join us in there and spread the word for us. We also have other businesses. We do digital marketing. We do home deliveries. Currently, we handle from USA to Ghana and many more. For those who joined us, we hope you make a date with us every Wednesday, same time, so 12 p.m. Eastern Time and 4 p.m. Greenwich Meridian Time. Yeah, spread the news, and we hope to see you again. Thank you, everyone, for making today a good time for us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And also we have a
thank you.
hands-on training ongoing. So anyone who wants to learn more about this hands-on anything about cybersecurity can join SoftAfrique, because that's the only place that you can get all this at a very cheaper or very small money. With the little money, you can just get a lot. Just come and join SoftAfrique and let's all make ourselves great in the field of cybersecurity. So thank you very much all. And God willing, next week, Wednesday, we'll come up again with another important topic with another hands-on. So do make a time to join us next week, and then you will never regret that. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you too.
Okay, so bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm sorry the call is over, but I have this quick question I want to ask.
Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to know if you offer data analytics courses.
Data analytics, like what do you call it? A tool like Tableau to be able to analyze data. Yeah, that is something that we have in there in our scope.
Okay, but I want to learn Power BI and Python, how to use Python to analyze data.
Yeah, Python scripts into Power BI. It's within our scope.
Okay. Then I'll talk to Janet afterward. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. So I don't think there's any more question.
All right, everyone.
So, boss, if you have anything,
no, I think I'm done. No,
all right, so we call it a day. Next week, we'll come up again with another one. Bye-bye from here.
Bye-bye.